Today we're making a Gai Yang or Thai grilled chicken but baked in the oven. This is one of my favorite street food from Thailand and I especially love the dipping sauce. So yep, let's do this. First, we're making the chicken marinade. We're going to need some cilantro roots. Now take a bunch of cilantro just like this, or coriander, okay? For the purposes of this recipe, cilantro, coriander the same. And make sure you give it a good wash. And then just cut off the roots and some of the stems. So there you have it, your cilantro root. Now, if you can't find fresh cilantro, then just skip this step, but I actually think that the cilantro root is an important ingredient as it really adds that sort of herby flavor to the chicken. If you have a pestle and mortar just like this, that would be best, but you can also just use a food processor like I am going to be doing right now. In the food processor, we are first adding lots of garlic, lemongrass, just the white inner core, and you want to slice that up into smaller pieces too, some shallots, as well as the cilantro roots and stems that we prepared earlier. Then we are adding a light soy sauce. Next, fish sauce, some dark soy sauce, or you can also use Kicap manis. Now this is brown sugar. You can also just use regular sugar. If you have palm sugar, that would be great. And finally, some black pepper. And go ahead and give that a blitz. Now we want just a rough paste with this. Bigger pieces are much better when you're roasting in the oven. So try not to use a blender. If you're using a blender, then make sure you just want to pulse it so that you get a rough paste. So something like this is perfect. And then let's whip out our chicken. I'm using some chicken thighs here with the skin on. And then get the marinade on, pour on all of that marinade all over the chicken, and then give the chicken a gorgeous massage with all of the marinade. Once we get the chicken evenly coated, marinate this for at least 3 hours. Overnight would be the best. I am marinating mine overnight, of course, so see you in a while. Okay, so this is optional, but some 12 hours in, I like to just take out the chicken and kind of move the chicken around in the bowl just to make sure a more even marinade. The next day, and our marinated chicken is ready to bake. Now you want to take the chicken out of the fridge and let it hang outside for about 30 minutes or so, just so the chicken warms to room temperature a little bit more. Preheat the oven to 175 degrees Celsius, and I recommend using an oven rack for this. And then just lay the chicken all over the rack. Also, ignore the smaller pieces of chicken. For some reason, I cut out my chicken thighs. But yes, just pretend these are all equally sized chicken thighs, okay? Once you have this, pop this in the oven for 40 to 45 minutes. At the 40-minute mark, this is what our chicken is looking like. Now increase the oven temperature to 220 degrees Celsius and then pop this back in for another 10 minutes and voila! Our chicken is now done with a gorgeous deeper brown shade, so sexy, and the skin has also become gorgeously crispy. And your chicken is done. Now you can serve this as is or with some spicy tangy dipping sauce or Nam Jim Jaew. Sorry if I butchered that. One of the ingredients for Nam Jim Jaew is the toasted rice powder or Khao. Now to make this in a dry pan, add some raw glutinous rice, but you can also just use regular white rice. Over low heat, you want to get this nice and toasted. Constantly swivel the pan so that the rice do not burn. It's done once it has a brown color just like this, and it kind of smells a little bit like popcorn. You can use a pestle and mortar to grind it to a powder, but I'm using a grinder, and then there you have it, your toasted rice powder or khao kwa. But listen, if you don't want to go through all this trouble, then just keep the khao kwa, okay? It's totally fine. Okay, the actual sauce. In a bowl, add brown sugar or palm sugar, but you can also just use regular white sugar if you don't have any of those two on hand. Fish sauce, tamarind paste, lime juice, and some Thai chili flakes. Now this is really spicy, okay, so add according to your spice tolerance. I obviously love my spice. And then the toasted rice powder or khao kwa that we made earlier, some fresh cilantro, and a couple tablespoons of water just to loosen this sauce up. And then go ahead and mix that up. Now this is just a base mixture. Feel free to adjust according to your preference. Anyway, there you have it. This is your Nam Jim Jaew sauce. And there you have it. That is your Gai Yang Thai grilled chicken, but made easily in an oven with the amazingly yummy Nam Jim Jaew sauce, as well as some sticky rice on the side. Quite a fair bit of ingredients, but actually really easy to whip up all together. So I really hope you give this a go, and goodbye!